Utah is one of roughly 12 states that allows private probation companies to control critical aspects of your life. Now, they decide what low-level offenders need to do and pay in order to get out of the criminal justice system. So in an ABC4 exclusive, Jillian Smukler investigating these for-profit agencies to see if they're setting probationers up to fail.
Probation is meant to give low-level offenders a chance to avoid doing jail time by completing certain classes, treatment, and testing. But with private agencies directly profiting off of these requirements, many believe they're taking advantage of the system.
As soon as they go in the door, their best interest is left behind.
In Utah, thousands of people are currently on probation.
It's how many of our classes can we get you in? If you don't do it right, you do it again. And it's another $200 the next month.
With more low-level offenders being sent to private probation providers, concerns are growing over whether they have their best interest in mind.
I remember when I was doing my first appointment with them, I was paying, and a lady was next to me, and she said in front of them, this place is a joke, and they're going to keep you here for as long as possible.
We all know, those of us that work in the system, that there are certain agencies that they just continue to keep people in their system. It's a revolving door.
That system defense attorney Greg Skordas references was born out of necessity. Back in 1990, lawmakers passed the Private Probation Provider Licensing Act to ease the strain on the overwhelmed state-run agency. Fast forward 31 years later, there's 90 active private probation providers in the state, with 26 of them in Salt Lake County.
Historically, we've said that that's something that should not happen, and the commingling creates that conflict.
Salt Lake County District Attorney Sim Gill believes that assessments and treatments need to be done by separate agencies, so the financial motivation to keep them longer isn't there.
We want to make sure that people are getting a directed, proportionate help without being systemically being coerced into a longer course of treatment or the wrong kind of treatment.
I do not make treatment recommendations. I may give input to my counselors when they say, hey, I just saw a client of yours that you see for probation. They say they've never had a criminal charge. They say they've never done education. And they say that there's not an issue. And I say, whoa, are you serious?
Private probation agencies have the ability to charge offenders for classes, drug and alcohol tests, and whatever else they decide is needed for treatment. And if they're unable to pay, the probation officer could issue a violation and the offender could end up in jail.
I remember hearing from some people saying that they've been threatened, that they have been coerced, saying that if you don't pay up, that I'm going to send a negative report.
But an owner of one of the 26 private probation agencies in Salt Lake County says the financial obligation helps hold them accountable.
If they know they have to pay me $30 and they know that I will do case management services with them for that $30 appointment, they come prepared asking for help.
While these for-profit agencies rely on fees to bring in revenue, other probation services funded by the county don't have that problem.
We have a monthly probation fee of $15. If somebody can't afford to pay that, we'll work with them. We can reduce it to $10, $5, or $0.
When a person is court-ordered to probation, some get to choose their provider while others do not.
It's a catch-22 because in some jurisdictions you don't have the infrastructure of support that you need from a government-based model.
It all depends on the judge and which county you're in.
Some judges will have agencies that they like, and there may just be one agency in the courtroom, and the judge will say, there's the agency you're going to.
Several probationers say there needs to be more transparency in what their options are.
These people make you feel like you have to be there, and for me it prolonged my stay in the court system because I had to choose between getting finished with them or working, because they made it impossible for me to do both.
There should be a way for them to be able to raise those alarms without consequences to them.
And until the assessments and treatments are kept separate, he believes probationers will continue staying in the system.
We are constantly using taxpayer dollars to solve a problem which we're helping create by our own inaction.
Who's benefiting from overtreatment? I would argue that it's not the community, it's the treatment providers. And that's coming from me that owns a treatment center.
Oscar Mata is one of the people who worked with Representative Shurtleff on House Bill 55 before she died. The bill, which would prevent private providers from doing court-ordered assessments and treatments, stalled in a House committee. Some of its supporters are hoping another lawmaker will pick it up.
And I don't care who you are. Everyone makes mistakes. No one should be exploited for monetary gain because of that mistake.
If the courts and the legislature could say, look, we're going to regulate what you do.
And some owners agree that more rules are needed.
I know people are being taken advantage of. I know that most of my complaints that you've heard about, if the government had better structure and regulations for us, would be able to show you that what that complaint was is not necessarily a violation or unethical or unprofessional.
That was Jillian Smukler reporting, and she says it's important to note the Utah Department of Commerce Division of Occupational and Professional Licensing, they only send an investigator to a private probation provider if it confirms the complaint is against the law. Well, coming up in this newscast,